Hello everyone, Scott here from Pillow Partners with this week's Pillow Talk podcast. Super excited for this one because it's in person and I always prefer these. Second is a very good friend of mine and good friend of Pillow over the years, Paula Wingate. So I'm not going to do any introduction here. We are going to have fun on this podcast. Going to be a range of topics. Paul, why don't you do an introduction? Over to you.
Oh, wow. I just want to say a big hello to everyone, by the way. And Scott, thank you for chancing it and letting me come along onto this podcast, because this can go anywhere. And you know what I'm like.
We're hoping to get banned today. If I don't get banned, I think I'm already shadow banned anyway for questioning too much. So we'll see where this goes. Paula, listen, we've known each other for 8 years, I think, helped us with the business with Pillow and previous things you did, but let's tell us a little bit of history and who you are.
Wow. So I've been a coach for 30 years. I was a coach at the age of 8, believe it or not, at karate. Didn't even know it. I was a sensei, didn't even know it.
Wow.
And then grown into being at McDonald's, became training squad, became leader of the year, all that stuff. Then I went into First Direct, did the same, became trainer. And this was not my designated path, but it's turned out to be my designated path. And now I coach loads of businesses to make loads of money and work less, which is just my passion. Love it.
I first heard of Paula for years before I met her. We started off 2006 down in Ayrshire, and then when we started getting an office and get the office in Glasgow, doing lots of business in Glasgow, and about 2016, 17, I kept hearing this name Paula, who was Glasgow's best coach at this company called Influential Minds. All the big people that I knew in business were being coached by you, and you were the name at the time, and Emma introduced me to you. But your name back then, definitely with Influential Minds, doing high level coaching for business people. I heard of Paula for years before I met her, and was super excited to meet you the first time.
I know, I couldn't believe when I met you, because you could see the caliber in you, Scott. You know, that like you could see the raw business owner in you. And you're just going out there and just leading the way, showing mirrors to everyone. I just love that.
I think that was just being cheeky and dyslexic. It's a cheeky bugger. Just honestly telling people what I thought and then swearing. I'll translate to that. So we're going to have some fun on this podcast. We got in touch a few days ago. As I record this, that we're now in recession. All the TV would tell you in recession. We're now in recession, but actually it's 2 months, so we were in recession last year. But let's make a drama in the media about it. And we were talking, is MD an expert in this? Is MD know about finances, the ups and downs, ins and outs of recessions? And we got lots of answers to that. We will get people on the podcast, but it was from a very economic business point of view. Let's cover what's happening in a little different topic here. We were getting like a little bit deep before we started. We've got the same views. We had the same views during the lockdowns about the way things are. What's your thoughts now that we're going to see lots in the media about recessions, people not having money, businesses are going to go bust, there's talk of lots of employees being paid, all this tough stuff. People don't have money, and things are going to be tough for us. What's your thoughts on that, first of all?
I'm excited about the recession, and I'll tell you why. Business is a game, and if you play the game to lose, you will lose. If you play the game to win, you will win. So it's like Monopoly, right? If you play Monopoly, there's always going to be different scenarios, different platforms, different decisions you have to make, different cards you pull out. And that card there that might actually put your business at risk can be the card that absolutely makes you.
Yeah.
What do you have to learn for you to be able to grow? I mean, what can be so wrong with that? And recession is just another name for actually going out there and creating a business that's going to thrive. So if your business can thrive in a recession, it can certainly thrive in the same environment, just with a different name.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I was really ingrained in the entrepreneurial. But there's Milo saying he's excited. Don't get banned. Milo's a leads up the digital marketing and the marketing team. we will be getting banned. It's just how many platforms should we go? We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Let's go for one of them.
Wow.
There's Emma. Emma introduced me to you, May. Emma saying you were her coach.
She was good. She still is good, by the way. Emma's good.
Emma's still got a lot of little trophies she got from you for hitting certain goals. So Emma speaks highly and puts a lot of her success down to Paula's individual coaching. So guys, if you're watching live, bang in some questions as we go through. We're going to come into the exciting stuff. Being in lockdown through been in lots of entrepreneurial cohorts, programs, lucky enough to be included in about 4 or 5 as we went through. Many businesses during lockdown, which was the last big event really. Lots of businesses massively struggled, but likewise I was around people that that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. There's certain things, businesses that just accelerate during bad economic events and recessions. They did say chocolate and people spending money on personal grooming care products. People want to take care of themselves and spend a little bit more money on those type of things. So there's certain things that go up in recessions, certain things that go down when times are good. So a little tweak in your business model can change it.
Yeah, well, if you think about 2009, when everything went to absolute pot, Uber, WhatsApp, Airbnb, all came out and started the business. Where are they now? Yeah. And this is what I want to really get people to think about. Whether it's a recession, whether you're thriving, where you've got loads of your cash flow poor, or you're growing, or wherever you are, it's just a game. And learn to play the rules of that game. Yep. So, for example, when COVID happened, one of the first things I said to my clients, get cash flow rich.
Yep.
And this is businesses where it went overnight. Go and get cash flow rich. Find out where you can get money put aside. You don't have to use it. Put it aside into a pot and be there and have security to know that whatever decision you make, it's not coming from a scarcity decision.
Yep. It's
coming from an abundance decision. So you'll probably have investors around you don't even know would love to get 10% APR from you.
Yep.
Who are more than happy to back you and put that money aside, but we don't go out and ask. Because we might be embarrassed. We might be going, oh, I didn't ask for that. But that's just normal in business. For you to grow, you've got to grow with money. The biggest thing I see with business owners is that they don't see growth. They go and play with growth. They don't actually do a growth plan.
Yep.
They don't sit down and go, right, if we're going to grow from A to B, how much money is it going to cost us to do that? Not cost us, invest. How much money do we invest to get there, where we're going to get there? And it's getting them to think, right, first, the number one KPI of a business is to be cash flow rich.
Yep.
How can you be cash flow rich? And the biggest thing I see with business owners, and I was at fault at this as well, is whenever banks gave me money, I would turn it down because I'm thriving. Why do I need to borrow money?
Yeah.
Every time I get a request now from a bank saying, do you want this, Paul? I go, I'll have that. And I'll put it aside because as soon as you're running a business and you struggle with cash flow, you won't see a bank around you.
Yep.
They will not offer you money. So while they're offering it, put it to the side. But I will say this, if you don't know how to handle money and you will be tempted on buying cars or purchases that don't make you any money, so you don't make money from debt, this is not for you.
Yep.
This is for people that know, put money aside and learn how to make money from debt so that they can thrive and grow.
Emma Wolf, if she's watching, she'll say I was definitely guilty of this. Been over to Silicon Valley twice, but we got funded trips. We won it in competitions, or let's say manifested that Paula get paid to go to Silicon Valley and pitch for money, and we were in great positions. And Emma's like, so you're going to take that couple of million quid? And I'm like, no, we don't need it because we've made profit from day one. And it did take me until probably 2 years ago to realise that actually if we had taken 2 million quid for 40% of the business, would that £2 million have made us 20% more? Would we have got that 20% back by having 2 million quid in the business? And the answer is it would have 10x. It would have been £10 million better. So I'm very protective about Pillow. I suppose still am. Always people want to invest in Pillow. We were very like zero debt, took some stuff during lockdown, ended up paying it all back.
Yeah.
Paid it all, every penny. We had bounce back loans and it was in there. We'd stuff it that was interest free and we paid it back, which was stupid because when we went into lockdown, it was a big cash flow problem. Shit, how do we get here? I was literally sitting in Silicon Valley the weeks before lockdown, then coming back to it being illegal to make money. And that mindset that you're talking about, I hadn't watched the news. I cut the coaxial off my TV in 1997. Literally watching stuff cut. Guys, for those young people that don't remember, you had to plug your TV into a wall to an aerial to go to a cable to go to an aerial. And sometimes you had to fiddle with the aerial and go up the roof and get ladders to point it in the right direction. Now it just arrives to your devices and smart TVs. But I remember watching the news, catching on when I started to actually understand the way the world works. Because like the news is absolute nonsense. TV, watching adverts, sitting watching the Thicko box or the zombie box, just not for me. Watching soaps and stuff like that. So cut the coaxial off the table and the cable, and never watched it again until lockdown. And I watched it for a day in lockdown to see what was happening. I haven't watched the news ever. Read newspapers, listened to the radio. Never have done that. But the one day in lockdown I did, it was disastrous, and I sat there and it fucked with my head massively. And I thought, how is game over? How do we get out of this? Because it's impossible, and the news are making it possible. We cannot make money in our industry. It's illegal. Again, we'll talk about vibrations and mindset. The TV messed with my brain. It put me 24 hours, and I thought, it's impossible. And I thought, why am I feeling like this? Because I watched the TV, didn't watch news again for the rest of lockdown, haven't till now. And rather than watching TV, news and box setting, and how it was a horrible time for a lot of people. There was a lot of fear-based porn, as we'll call it, out there. Everything was a negative. We were in freeze with the business, but I chose to spend the time weasel my way into Zoom calls with people in Silicon Valley, and these were, they wouldn't class themselves as millionaires, but deca-millionaires and billionaires. And when you're in a Zoom call with 50 deca-millionaires and billionaires, they ain't sitting saying, BBC said this or CNN. They're like, guys, this is the biggest opportunity that's ever happened. There was some anxiousness about people's health and stuff like that, but from a business point of view, lockdown for people with the right mindset, and I spent hundreds of hours over lockdown, up to 12 at night. I was in the office to 12, 1 in the morning, and the security guard went, you don't hear it 1 in the morning. I've been on Zoom calls with people in Silicon Valley. They were 8 hours time difference. And for me, it was an absolutely polar opposite of what was happening in the UK. The people with money or with a different mindset that's probably linked were taking all the positives out of it, and everybody here that got caught up in it were taking the negatives, as did I for 24 hours. So when this happened this time, and there's news, a lot of people aren't going to be booking holiday lets and all that's that industry over. I made a video for our clients today on the 5 things we're going to do. The opportunities are amazing. It's going to supercharge our business simply because we're going to tighten up all the different things to get owners' bookings. But yesterday when we heard the news, it's doom and gloom. The same set of circumstances, different mindset leads to different outcomes.
Yeah, and I love it when it's doom and gloom, I tell you now, because I used to be one of those people that used to love watching news and get really depressed and then just churn about it and then get myself down. I used to actually get a buzz from that.
Definitely. Schadenfreude, I believe they call it as a term, but yeah, people get addicted to it.
Yeah, and then when I started to open up and be aware consciously of what was going on, and there's certain systems that we're born into, which I'll come into a second, there was like, I get it. I know what this game is and how to play this game, so I played it to my advantage. But wherever you're given, there's an opportunity, and it's learning how to create that opportunity. So like Ferrari, Aston Martin, they're having record years.
For sure.
Recession came, I think it was 2022, June 2022, it came out. We had been in recession, but yet they're having record years. Why is that?
Grace, find a quote, please, from Warren Buffett. I think it's when there's blood in the streets, that's the time to invest. So Google Warren Buffett quote so I can put it into the thing. And it's when there's blood in the streets, it's time to invest. I.e., he invests the polar opposite of everything else. One of the world's most successful investors, apparently. But with I heard about, why are people buying yachts? There's no cash. People were getting money out of their bank accounts because it's sitting in their bank accounts when inflation was probably double digits. I know they'll say, no, it's only 1% inflation. Don't you worry, we have it handled. Inflation was a lot higher, and people with money in the bank that had uncertainty wanted it in physical hard assets. Watches, yachts, properties, supercars, things that may depreciate, but depreciate less than the money in the bank. So opportunities even when there's massive inflation.
Yeah, and you know, like Man United, right? Manchester United Football Club, if you're all aware of them, they're run by a company called, well, Glazers, they're run by, right? They are playing their business beautifully. Do you know why?
Oh, I don't know about football.
Do you not know about Man
No,
United?
I don't even. I was born in Manchester and I could not tell you anything about football. I didn't even know until the Euros that they fucking changed side halfway. I was like, why what's he doing? Scotland versus England at the Euros, we get free tickets. Everyone will tell the story. I was like, yeah, I was cheering and all the English people, all the Scottish people were like, what are you cheering? They've changed sides. I didn't know. I thought this was a new thing. That's my knowledge of football. I did not know they changed sides at half time. Continue.
They've created a system that's cash flow rich, and they're actually using that business to bring the cash out for them to use and build another business.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yep.
So they've piled it with debt
because
they know how to make money from debt.
For sure.
Rightly or wrongly, they know how to do it. Then they've created bonds for people to buy the bonds for them to use, again, a system where they can make money from other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's a great thinking because they're one of the best marketing companies in the world.
Definitely.
And they just can touch, whatever they touch, it turns to gold. And it's about creating systems that works for your cash flow rich. So I'm working with a business owner at the minute, right? And she was telling me today that she's got a system that will produce 90% net profit.
Nice.
But she's using a system that's 0% net profit. More hassle, causing her loads of grief, loads of stress, loads of panic, anxiety. And I'm like, why are you not using this system at 85% net profit? And she went, I want aware of it, Paula.
Yep.
Now, without going into who this is and etc., there's systems in people's businesses that they're not aware of that will produce loads of money and not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's because we're all been born into this system, which I call the 3D system. And the 3D system is you're born in from the womb into nursery. You learn how to be an employee right from that start. Yeah. You go to school, you go to college, sometimes you might go to university, then we become employees and we're trapped.
Yep.
In that trapment, we then get piled with mortgages, loans, we're skinned, we've still got loads of bills going out because we're trained to actually spend more than we get in. And then if you wanted to make a change, just say you've got a passion and you want to follow it and you know you can make money, you're trapped.
Definitely.
You're trapped. You're trapped in a fear-based system that puts panic, anxiety, anger, stress, cash flow, anxiety, all at you. And then we wonder why you can't run businesses.
Yep.
And I see it all the time. Like if we actually know how to run a business, I always ask them this question: when did you last get taught how to run a business, Scott?
We definitely didn't at school, and definitely didn't. I did MBAs and management degrees, and none of it was about running a business. You have to trial and error, or listen to people like yourself and people that have been there and done it. So, but you don't.
We've been taught it though, haven't we?
No, I've done an MBA degree in management. Obviously, some principles, but nothing real life business is. I don't even know if it's right. You just do your best. You pick it up as you go along and listen to people that have been there, done it. Mark over on LinkedIn has a question. How much is industry knowledge and how much is mindset?
Oh, I love that question
because Mark's nothing to do with you, is it? That's Mark Labs. So thank you for that, Mark.
That's a cracking question. For me,
not planted.
For me, mindset is worth up to 90% of your results. Yep. Because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but you might not have the right mindset.
Yep.
So Cristiano Ronaldo is a great example for this for me in football. I don't think he was born the best player in the world at all, but he grew his mindset into the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Says a lot. That's an example for me that says a lot. That mindset, if you grow your mindset, positive mindset, you will fly more than somebody that's naturally born in business.
Well, there's definitely there's things happening. I've been in training, been in courses, and looked at this of the acquisition of businesses versus buying businesses. So I 100% know, and we've looked at this pre-lockdown, looking at it now, taking over other businesses that are loss-making. Now, in an industry, if it's service accommodation, that's very easy for us to plug it into Pillow, economies of scale, get rid of double costs, very easy to do that. But even there's industries I've looked at, and the owner has been maybe in that business for 35 years. It doesn't work. It's not profitable, and you can acquire that business for money or no money, but that's not the point. But somebody like you or I in certain industries could say, I do not know anything about the bakery industry, made up of running a sports club or something. But you could look at that and apply mindset, basic business principles, and someone with 35 years, perfect industry knowledge, that's loss making, and within a couple of months you can make that profit making.
Oh, 3 million%.
So, and that is a hard thing to get around. And guys, if people are building businesses, when you start looking and thinking, how do we acquire businesses? In some cases for free, but how can we take a business from somebody that's an expert and we're not, make that business profit making within months? And not to go into the ins and outs of that here, but it's a lot easier to do than you might imagine with the right mindset.
Oh, you know what? If I start my time back as a business owner again, one of the biggest things I would change is I would actually grow my business through acquisition.
Definitely.
And not marketing.
Yep.
You do need marketing. That's one of the big pillars in business, but you actually can grow faster and make more money, as well as increase the value of your business quicker than you could do in marketing.
100%. And guys, for our specific strategies, stronger together. I always turn around in all these live things, say stronger together is our first core value. But we know if we can have 50, we'll call them franchisees, but 50 partners across the UK, all working with us, and rather than building and all competing against each other, and we are doing this across the UK, and we know that buy and build strategy or whatever you want to call it, but people coming together to work, we know that their businesses will grow massively faster than not being part of Pillow, and Pillow will grow massively quicker than trying to launch in these areas new. But if we can partner with existing operators, all come together, all share knowledge, all minimise costs, all share that marketing budget to acquire customers rather than going against for the same customer, it just is going to supercharge what we are doing this year.
And the beauty of Pillow, you're going to teach everyone business skills.
Yeah,
run a business.
Yeah, all my mistakes. So there's definitely there's been some today. There'll be some tomorrow. You're speaking about football. Let's digress for a second. You do stuff with St Mirren's ladies, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Can you do that coaching and mindset for them, or
So I've been brought in as a commercial director to the St Mirren Women's Football Club because we've got plans to go professional at the top level, but we're at the bottom. Not bottom of that league, but bottom league of that process. And it's all about making sure that we create a system where women thrive. I can see it in a lot of professional football clubs at the minute. I'm not naming any, but you can see how women are not looked after.
Yeah. So
we've built a system where we've got sports scientists, nutritionists, PTs, rehab, everything, massages for the girls and the women, absolutely be in a position where they can thrive. We've also brought in 2 mindset coaches for them to get the best version out of them. So when I played football at a high level, I had a big thing in my head, and I didn't know about mindset at the time, where I thought, I'm not fit. I'm fit. I was fit, but I always used to worry about not being fit enough for 90 minutes. If I got myself into an adrenaline zone, never came into my head.
Yeah.
I was one of the best players on the park. And I thought, I wonder where I've been if I had a mindset coach. And it was only after quitting football, I then got into mindset. And believe it or not, I coached a couple of professional footballers in the men's Premier League. And I said to one of them, so what's your mindset ritual before a match? Like, what do you do to grow your mind? And he looked at me like, what are you talking about, Paul? And I was like, hang on, 0.1% of men get to this level of Premier League and you are doing no mindset work.
Yep.
Now imagine where this guy would be if he did mindset every single day. Small, 1%, just little changes every day. Even your gratitude journal, which, by the way, if you do a gratitude journal, it's a great process to rise, to vibrate high. I take it people know what vibe high means. Best to explain that.
Yeah, go for it. And by the way, gratitude journals, I'll say I've fought against it. It's been very fucking nonsense for so many years. Started doing it this year because I got a Christmas present, and it's fantastic. So very therapeutic. But
I was the same. I was like,
fucking I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a man. I don't need to do gratitude journals. It's for the weeks. But yeah, it does force you to put stuff down. But tell us about vibing high.
Well, vibing high is about a couple of things. It depends on how deep you want to go, but you've got a glow around you, such as like, you know, the ready brick man. You'd have a glow, and depending on how you're vibing, depending on what energy you're putting out there. So I call it your vibration bubble. And what I used to find was if I was vibrating low back years ago when I was maybe not following my most excitement, passion, I would then be that dark brown Paula, and everybody used to run away, and my vibe was actually don't go near Paula. If I vibe high, it's like white glow or, you know, lovely colour, and I get loads of people coming to me wanting to speak to me, then that changed my life because I realised there's different realities you can create that's running at the same time. And if I'm vibing high, I'm on that vibe high chain, I'm going to get loads of things to me. If I'm vibing low, I'm going to get loads of negative things to me. And I realised, right, if I'm going to change, especially the recession now, right, I'm loving it because if I'm going to be really, really maximising the opportunities that are going to come to me, I'm going to be at my peak state, my highest vibe. Like, bring it to me. I'm going to be the magnet. And I've realised if I'm the magnet of goodness, greatness, things that are going to come to me, I'm going to be at the top of that food chain. And top of that food chain means I've got more options than someone that's at the low end of that food chain.
Talking about food chains, guys, if you've seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramidical structure, being at the top and self-actualization, and I'll ask you this because I'm pretty sure people are saying, Paula, that's great because you've got your life in order, you're a professional athlete, a mindset coach, and it's easy to operate at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is like love, self-worth, self-actualization. But when you're at that bottom level, which is physical survival, people worried about not having a roof over their head, not being able to pay electricity bills, very hard when you're at that bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is pure food, water, air, shelter. It's hard to think about that top level of self-actualization. How would people get out of that? What's a nice tip to say, yes, you need to actually be in the reality of needing that survival, but you also need to operate at a higher level to get out of it.
You know, 10 years ago, well, just about 11, 12 years ago, I was homeless.
Really?
Yeah. I lost loads of money on the stocks and shares, trying to get out of my job that was killing my soul. And I lost loads. I lost my house, my family. I lost everything. And I came up to Scotland to stay with my family. And there'd be sometimes I'd be sofa surfing on their sofas, but sometimes I'll be in the car park in the car because I didn't dare ask for help. They thought I was in hotels. I was in the car park sleeping away. And that was when I was at the bottom of the bottom. I had a choice. Do I stay here on this planet or do I change? And I had to get to that bottom. So if I was in that situation again, one of the biggest game changers for me was gratitude. Because there's always one person that's in the worst scenario than you at that time.
For sure.
And it's not, I don't take pleasure from that, but it gave me reassurance that actually I could get out of this. And I remember sitting in the car park in Govan, with a nightlight on, reading the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And that was the book that taught me about money mindset. So I'm skint. I have no money, maybe £7 a week I'm on. I've quit everything. I've quit my job, because if I'm going to fail, I was paying out like £3,000 worth of debt and £2,000 coming in. So what's the point in working? Let's go out and challenge myself and live in a passion that I wanted to do. If I'm going to fail at the best. And it was the gratitude and learning how to make money. That's a skill. I thought it was a chance. You're lucky to get money. All that crap that was in my mind. I put it to a side and just learned how to best do it. And that's what got me from where I am today. Just simple things, gratitude, vibing high. Watch in 3 or 4 months. Watch what happens to the life.
And again, I didn't know that, and it sounds sleeping in your car, horrible. But would you go back and change any of that now?
No. Definitely not. When I lost all that money, right, and I hit the drink, and we lost children, like in terms of like miscarriages. Like, I'm not the baby making machine, just to be clear on that. It was like the total shit show that just came into my life. When I look back, it was the best ever thing that ever happened to me, because I would still be working at the bank. My soul dying, killing myself. I just knew there was something better. I'd outgrown it. And I wouldn't be where I am, where I've got life of freedom. I've got inner happiness, inner peace. I can do what I want when I want. Don't get me wrong, it can be a bit stressful sometimes, but I thrive on that.
Definitely. And hey, no fear, because you've went through the worst of us. So what else to tell them, really?
Yes. All I would say is, right, for people to change their life, no matter which situation they're in, give themselves a gift of living at the most highest excitement they can give themselves. So what I mean by that is, go and get yourself your passion. Live in or with your passion every single day, because the energy you're vibing out can be a life and game changer.
And again, when you're saying that, that's something definitely I've discovered. When I was brought up, it was, well, weirds don't ever go to university, Scott. There's no point in you working, because your benefits will pay for your flat. And it took me decades to reprogram everything I had been taught. I would be saying, you're stupid, Scott, leaving school with no qualifications. All the programming from my childhood, there was a tiny wee fraction of 1% that said that everybody's wrong and there's something more there. Then when you get into adulthood, as you say, well, you'll go to your government indoctrination camps to get taught how to live your life. There's the whole thing of doing your 40 years to, retire on 40% of the money that you want to learn. So you want to live on and have fun on, and you're too old to do it. So there are things. Let's finish our last 10 minutes by exploring. When we have conversations like this, I'm going to leave. The vibrations will be raised. When you spend time with people that are in vibrations, you can't help but be inspired. But there's a lot of stuff out there that, again, I don't know if you agree, it's intentional, but it's definitely, to me, engineered to keep you in a lower vibrational level. Because if everybody was in a higher vibrational level, I think we would definitely question the structure of society. We wouldn't accept what's happening, what's been forced upon us. So, do you think there's things there deliberately to keep our vibrations down?
Oh, 3,000,000%, definitely. Look at the bloody potholes. Only joking, by the way. Yeah, because how can they control you if we believe in our magic, in our power? Imagine that. I mean, God's sake, it's easy to control, but especially, is it Les? L-E-S? Sorry, L-E-Z?
Yeah.
I call it Les, whatever it's called. I mean, what a shit show that is. But yeah, if people see through that, what would really happen?
And again, the evidence, if you look at that as a specific, the actual economic and the environmental. It's made up nonsense. It isn't to lower pollution in any way. I don't even think the Greens could argue that anymore. Not to get political, but that isn't the purpose it's there for. Nothing to do with. It makes no sense. There's a motorway, guys. LEZ is the same as ULEZ in London, but it's like, oh, you can't go into Glasgow, but there's a motorway going all the way. You can go through the centre of Glasgow without paying a pollution charge. Imagine going through the centre of London and a motorway and not needing to pay anything. But either side of that, or the side of that motorway, you need to pay a pollution charge because you're polluting London. Well, that's what happens in Glasgow. The whole at one side of the motorway that goes through the middle of Glasgow is pollutes, but not on the car when you're driving, polluting your car at 60 miles an hour through the centre of Glasgow. Tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands a week going through, but it makes no sense.
No.
And it's for other reasons. And there's just hundreds of things. That's why one of the things we would say is just attention is one of the biggest things that people are wanting, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on social media, whether it's TV, whether it's advertising, whether it's in the listening to radio adverts, whether it's reading newspapers. Attention is the big thing. But it's the one thing that we can control, who gets our attention.
Yes.
Like, I don't listen to, I've never watched the news, one news report in lockdown, but in 20 years I could say I've never watched the TV as such, never listened to radio, never read one newspaper. I'm very selective of what I read online. I can control that. But if you don't and you're watching the news that's on, then you don't get to control, and you can't predict what's coming. So we can control where our attention goes.
You know, you're really funny yesterday when you put out about recession. I was like, what are you talking about? But I've deleted my Telegraph, my Sun, my Mirror, my Daily Mail. I've deleted it all. I've deleted BBC. I've deleted everything. Right? I was like, what are you talking about? And I went to Reuters and it said, oh yeah, we're in recession at the end of last year, which is going to then skew with Rishi Sunak's plans. And I thought, here we go. It's just fear porn, because it's going to be a general election year. And by the way, rightly or wrongly, you may not have, you think you vote, you might have the option to decide who it is. Nah, I'm not even going to go down that system, but what I would say is be aware. And I said to myself, why was I not even aware of that? I'm a business coach. And you know what I've done without realising? I've created my own bubble.
Filter bubble, yeah.
And I'm like, that does not deserve my attention. And the reason being is there's this, you know, when I said the 3D system and the 5D system. The 5D system, which they do not want you to know about, is opposite.
Yep.
So it's about living your life with joy, happiness, freedom, abundance. Abundance is what changed my life from being absolutely homeless to where I am today.
Yeah.
And then imagine peace, having inner peace. So there's all these wars going off, and we're getting. Your mind could be absolutely warped and taken down by all the destruction. But is it really wars that's kicking in? I want to question that. Now, I used to say I'm a conspiracy theory and a truth seeker. I don't want to spread all that. I don't want to, because that's up to the people to research it. But what I really want to spread is you can create your own world in the way you want to create it.
Yeah.
And I've created a bubble by total accident, and there's no wars in this. Just love. There's just peace.
Yep.
There's happiness, and love beats anything that's around you.
Yep. If you're living, again, I'm saying we get manipulated and forced down these, and we'll use your words of vibrations, negative vibrations that stop things being attractive to us, that make us unhappy, that give us fear and anxiety. But what I will tell you is once you see past all that, guys, and once you actually see political systems, governmental systems, everything to do with the world the way it is, you actually start seeing the world for the way it is. And most people end up more scared and more anxious in both two sides of the same thing. You think you've mastered it, you've cracked the cheat codes of life because you're like, listen, I know that's not right. And that's all, every news article in the whole fucking world saying the exact same words. Well, that's one media source. All the news readers saying the exact same things on two different sides of the left and the right spectrum, and the Republicans and the Labour and the right, whatever, all saying the exact same words. Everything coming from a central government. Then you start realizing you've cracked it and you get a little bit of happiness. But then people that have cracked that code and then start seeing that for the way it is end up more angry and anxious, because once you start realizing that, it's hard to not keep going down the rabbit hole and realizing the way the world is. So you're right. First stage is realizing how the way things are, and how you can operate at better levels and higher frequencies and be happier. But then once you realize that and you realize other factors, so many people just are worse off than not knowing. So I get why people just bury their heads in the sand and stick to that level of base unhappiness, base anxiety, base uncertainty, base lack of control, because the other thing is there, but you've jumped ahead of that and just said, well, I'm not even going to bother about any of that. Transcend even that.
Yeah,
and just be happy.
I can see loads of people out there going, what? By the way, I've been exactly in every position that's gone through this journey.
Yep.
And this is a journey of awareness for me. And when I said to myself, would I trust a politician to run my business? What would the answer be for you if you asked yourself that question, by the way?
Would you run a health secretary to run your health clinic, or the business secretary to run, or whoever? Again, I don't know about politics, guys, because it's made up. The people in charge are not the people in charge. You could possibly argue that point, but I don't think MD could find that. But yeah,
I wouldn't even trust them with any part of my business.
Yeah.
Would I trust them to run my life? Absolutely not. So why give you power to them? And I want everyone to realize this. If only you knew your magic and your power and how powerful you can be on how you can create your life, you would never, ever, ever entertain the doom and gloom of what's being put out there right now.
Definitely. And I don't think that's happened to you very instant, but I think people are going to need to work hard to get past everything. What's some final tips on people? Because there's Joanne Higgins. Paula, you're a breath of fresh air, need gratitude. Also helping others too, which you do. I have seen, by the way, before we finish, go back to football. I'm going to put you in the spot here. Somebody I know in the local village was very unhappy because her daughter, out of Barhead, her daughter played women's football. They lost their funding. This is Barhead. And I said that I'm going to speak to Paula and Kate, because you do stuff together.
Yeah.
Could we get those little girls round to look at St Mirren and meet some of the players, or could we do something to try and get that little community? Because it's people I know in the community that we care about. And she was upset because her daughter was crying that she's lost her thing, and she's now in this council estate without the women's training because it's lost its funding.
Okay.
What could we do something to sort that?
Yeah, get them to give me a shout, give me a contact. I'll chat through, and we'll help them put a system in place where they don't have to rely on funding. There's no need for that. You can rely on yourself and bringing money in. And I've proven that at St Mirren. We are the bottom league. There should be no reason why we're getting any money.
Yeah.
And it's created. So we've created a business club for business owners to come and mix with the right. If you're a business and football fan, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But you know what we've created by total accident is a movement that supports each other as a family. And every football club can be the same. And we've partnered up with Partick Thistle.
Yeah.
We're just talking about Green Up Morton. By the way, that is just nothing yet. Will be at some point, I'm sure. Them two are rivals.
Yep.
So what I was saying is, you can, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. Give me a shout.
Perfect, because we were going to try and do something that sponsor our uniforms at Safe Havens, our charity, but that is a tiny thing. That's one thing that's not going to get them systems, and what they need is
the tiny thing can be the biggest thing. I went in. I have a phobia with fishes, right? I've said to you, I've been in the mine, you going into the water and the sea and all this, right? And I ended up in the sea for like 6 or 7 minutes with fishes. So if I can do that, anybody can do anything. Does that make sense? I'm
going to be selfish for the last couple of minutes that we've got together, because you've mentioned gratitude, Joanne's on there mentioned gratitude. I want to learn from you on the gratitude. I'm sure the audience would like to finish there. We didn't get a chance to go deep at all into this. So that's another full podcast that might not go live. But gratitude, the vibrational thing, everything you've said, 100% agree with. The gratitude is the final bit in the jigsaw for me, and I am not there yet. What's some tips for the gratitude side of things? And again, I am grateful because I've manifested what I think's a kind of perfect life. And I feel I'm grateful, but I think I could take it to much deeper level.
Yeah, and even if you go to that deeper level, there'll be even another level to go to, another level. I always say do the basics world class.
Mm-hmm.
So do the gratitude basics world class. For example, right? If I've got an itchy foot, just it's really itchy and I've got no hand.
Right.
How the hell would I be able to itch my foot? Now you'd have to put your foot up and do.
I'm not scratching your foot, that's all right, fine, I will then. Get that shoe off. I will then.
That's an example of what happened to me the other week, and I was like, my God, if I didn't have a hand or fingers to scratch it, what would happen? So then I started going down the lines of, I'm so thankful that I've got hands.
Yeah.
Or so thankful I can reach down and do
or
that.
You've got a foot.
And I've got a foot.
Yeah.
So it's like little things, and I tried it with a client who absolutely hates gratitude, and I said, just humour me. Let's see where it goes. And next thing, within maybe 7 days, he was high as a kite, loving what he was putting down, and he went so basic to like a shoe, a sock, clocks, watches, car. It was just so basic stuff, like food. Like he did a 36-hour fasting. Really appreciating food coming in, stuff like that. So I would say is do the basics world class.
Yep. Nice. Okay. Well, that's us hitting half, and we need to finish here for time wise for both of us. I am grateful for you coming in today. Giving up your busy time, so thank you very much. Guys, how would they get in touch with you if they wanted to use you? We always finish these because you've got your own business, and if people would like to use you for anything, or what's your ideal client? If we could ask the audience and we're watching this, I want to give Paula something for her time. What's your ideal client?
Ideal client is a business owner that would love to unleash their business brilliance. So I've given myself a goal of helping 30 women, 30 plus, to really look at how to grow their own business without them. However, I'm not also gender biased. I like men too. So if there's people out there that really want to grow a business that works without them, give me a shout. I've got 4 weeks of free coaching that I'll personally give you, just to get you started.
Cool. And we will get the team to put your contact details under this. Guys, thank you very much for watching this. It has been super great for me. And actually, you interview people, you feel better, you get some new knowledge, but I'm definitely going to take something from this one. I will put a little bit more effort into my gratitude journal. There's things we do in the manifestation journal. I'm 100% and I'm going to make a conscious effort here to definitely be more grateful. 100% I'm grateful, but I realise just, there's things happening in the world, and I'm in a really, really fortunate position to have amazing people around me. But I think we can go deeper, take it to the next level.
Oh, so, big time.
Thank you very much. And anyone, just get in touch with Paula or get in touch with me via the podcast. We'll pass the details on. Thank you very much. And if you didn't get your question answered here, or you're watching on the replay, watching on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, please let us know your questions. We'll pass them on to Paula.